Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. You're joining us on this special conversation with Mr. KV Rama Moorthy from Tamilnad Mercantile Bank. Now, the bank is headed towards an IPO next week on the 5th of September, which will then close on the 7th of September, wherein the bank is looking to issue fresh shares of about 1.58 crore shares, as well as an OFS of about 12,505 shares with the existing shareholders. Mr. Ramamurthy, firstly, welcome to this conversation with BQ Prime. Let me quickly ask you a little bit about the IPO. What is the price band that you're looking at? What is the amount of money that you're looking to raise, sir?
Yeah, price band is around 500 to 520. Amount to be mobilized is around 830 crores with the higher end of the price band.
Okay.
And then, as I told you, I think while introducing the issue, he told that there is an OFS offer of 12,500. That is not there today. I think as per the DRHP, I think that option has been taken out. In fact,
that option has been taken out. Okay, sir. Any
right.
particular reason that option was taken out? Because that was originally announced in the DRHP.
Some of the people opted for earlier. I think they backed out, and then we took the SEBI permission accordingly.
I understand that, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. With the money that you're going to raise, this 830 crore. Now, previously you had guided to about 1,000 crore worth of fundraise. This 830 crore, how is that going to help the bank? Apart from, it augments tier one, of course, but other than that, what does it do for the bank?
It will augur well for the future growth aspirations of the bank. That's it. And it will be helping us to build the capacities for future expansion.
Fair enough, sir. The question that I wanted to ask you, so this is a 100-year-old bank that we're talking about, which is finally coming to the markets. There was a bit of regulatory push last year to go an IPO, and there is no clear promoter in this bank. It's actually fully held by the public. The question I wanted to ask you is, what exactly is the necessity to go to the market for a community-based bank, and how does this help? Just by going to the market, how does that help TMB?
We are a 100-year-old organization, as you already mentioned, in fact, and there has been a regulatory push for the bank to get ourselves listed. And then definitely, when I think all these logical steps need to be there for taking the banks to the next level, in fact. I think out of the old generation private sector banks, we were only being the unlisted entity as such. Earlier, right. There were a couple of other players were there. But I think next logical step is to move forward and then take to the things to the logical end, in fact.
Fair enough. Your asset size is at about 34,000 crore, and you have a deposit book of about 45,000 crore that you have generated. And this is largely through customers. I was reading through some of the details in the DRHP. Most of the customers that you have are people who have been with you for a reasonably long time. My question here is, what does growth for a bank like TMB look like? Are you going to expand to other customer bases? Bring in newer people onto the bank's roster, or will you continue serving the same community that you've been serving all this while, sir?
No, I think as yourself, the bank has started as a community-run organization, but I think of late, this is seen more as a organization which has been growing by new customer acquisition. And customer acquisition has been helping us to grow on both assets and liabilities. Yes. Customer stickiness has been there with the bank, but only thing is, if you look at the past trend also, there has been a sustainable growth which is happening on the deposit front as well as on the asset front. We'll be focusing on those areas.
Okay, sir. The other point I wanted to check with you. So March 2022, the data that is given in the DRHP that shows that the gross NPA ratio has dropped significantly by 1.69%. And that is a significant drop from where March 2021 was. How did you achieve this sort of recovery?
It's a combination of both factors as well as effective recovery mechanism, and the slippage prevention task force was working, and then some hand-holding measures which was announced by Government of India and RBI. They were, I think, handy for us to keep the NPA level under check. In fact, I think way forward also that is going to be the trend as such. They are very confident that maintaining that trend as such.
Okay, so you're looking to maintain that trend of improving asset quality from here on as well.
Yeah.
The reason I ask you is because a lot of the old generation private sector banks are saddled with a lot of NPAs, and that doesn't seem to change even if you see a change in management or some kind of special measures that are put in. I'm just trying to understand how you're achieving that in terms of recovery. What is it that TMB is doing that some of the other peers
our confidence comes on account of our ability of the field to slippage prevention mechanism and also to recover the amount wherever it is possible. And the way we have been, our loan book is lopsided towards RAM portfolio, that is retail, MSME, and agriculture. That's the reason why the risk is being spread, and we are able to control that NPA level as such. That's the reason.
Largely, how big are each of these components? Retail, agri, and MSME. How big are these on your book?
Absolutely, all these three segments put together. RAM portfolio as of now is almost 87% of our entire portfolio as of March.
That's fine. What is the retail portion like?
Retail will be around hovering around 20%, and the MSME will be around 40%. Okay. The remaining agriculture.
As is typical with a lot of community-based banks as well as old generation private banks, you are focused on businesses within the community, and that's probably why the MSME numbers are high. But I want to understand what the retail strategy is going to look like. Of course, you can't share forward-looking numbers, but in terms of strategy, what does retail look like going ahead for the next 5 years?
We'll be leveraging the digital technology to some extent. I think of late we have migrated to the latest technology, and that some CDO has been an offering. In fact, I think customer onboarding through digital media mode for both the assets and liabilities will be the area where we'll be working from now onwards. And that should help us to meet the aspirations for growth.
Okay.
And as you said, in the past, we don't confine ourselves for the community for which has started the organization. In fact, yes, we are present there in Tamil Nadu to a stronger extent. And 76% of the business comes from the state of Tamil Nadu. That is true. But I think it's all communities contribute to the growth of this organization.
Okay, fair enough. Going ahead, is that ratio going to change? Is this 76% going to come down?
Marginally, it may hover around, I think, around 85%, which we can. Because so far, these numbers have really helped us to reach the stage where we are today. I think we will continue to have the strategy forward as such.
Okay. Coming to a slightly more complex question with regard to Tamilnad Mercantile Bank, and this is the reason why the IPO has gotten delayed for over a year. The question I want to ask you was regarding all of these legal challenges that exist, about 4,500 cases, if I'm not wrong, with the TMB name on it. The question is, what do these have in terms of bearing on the new shareholders who will come in through the IPO? Sir?
As of now, most of the issues are, I think, closed logically, and then whatever issues are outstanding, they are all sub judice. I have a feeling that I think for new investors, all these impending issues should not be coming in the way.
Okay. You held your last 3 AGMs on the same day, and this was largely because of a court order that allowed you to do that. For future AGMs, will you require further court orders, or is it open now?
Absolutely open now, in fact. We are not supposed to approach court again for conducting of any AGMs. The latest court verdict says that we need to conduct AGMs as per the MCA guidelines.
Okay, sir. Some of the issues raised in these cases are slightly serious in nature. In terms of ownership, there's an ED question with regard to foreign exchange rules. There's also the RBI's question on whether who can actually own the stake in the bank, and ownership has changed hands a few times. I'm just trying to understand what was the need. I mean, what exactly prompted all of those problems in the beginning, and now that we're looking at a sub judice sort of nature, how soon do you think this will end?
Since the matters are attracting the attention of the law enforcing authorities and the DOA started investigation into the affairs impact, I think I'll not be in a position to comment anything about the specific timelines at this point of time. That will be, it won't be right on my part to make some lofty statements on that.
Okay, understood that. A large shareholder activist group, an advisory group, has actually IIS had previously said they should not approve the IPO until the legal issues are sorted. Do you think that will have any impact on interest among the investors?
No, I don't think it will have any interest, because then there is no large shareholder as such. It's a professionally managed bank as such. And here and there, yes, shareholders have been there, and some of the issues have been there in place. And since the matters are sub judice, and then the line enforcing agencies are investigating the affairs from the FEMA angle, I think the new shareholders have any impact on these issues.
Okay, last
the other regulator, RBI, is really prodding us to go get ourselves listed. In fact, that gives the additional comfort.
So would you say that this is largely because of the RBI that you're going to the market, or did you actually feel the need to go to the market?
That was also one of the factors. RBI prodding us to go for get ourselves listed. That's also one of the reasons.
Okay. The question I also had was with regard to the branch network at this point in time. It's about 509 branches, and a lot of it is focused on semi-urban locations. And you said most of the business actually comes from Tamil Nadu. In terms of branch expansion, what areas are you looking at? Do you feel that there are certain places that you're not present at where you should be so that your business grows further?
Maybe logically that should be the way forward. But I think as of now, apart from semi-urban, our presence is also there in rural areas. In fact, most last 2-3 years uncertainties, if you look at a lot of emerging opportunities are there in semi-urban and rural also. I think we are not found wanting on that count as such. That is the area where at least we would like to expand our activities. And when we are focusing on that portfolio, these areas pose enough opportunity to forward. We have been recently growing for the last 3 years.
Okay. Yeah. Any specific business areas that you want to expand in? Any segments that interest you?
No, as of now, I think our strategy, board approved strategy, has been to concentrate on the strong areas where we have been operating the last few years. Concentrate on CASA and liability side, and concentrate on RAM on the other side. That's it.
Okay.
The major areas are not going to be shifted as such.
Okay. Lastly, sir, with regard to this this IPO and then future growth plans, the only question I wanted to understand from you is what do you see TMB becoming by say 2030? It's about 8 years away, but what do you think that the bank is going to look like in these 8 years?
Logically, we should be. It has been a live organization. It has been a growing organization consistently. You can see the organization going forward in a similar fashion as in the past. I think on a very fundamentally strong areas, and then our operation ratios have been cut above the rest. In fact, we should be able to maintain the same level of operational efficiency going forward as such.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rama Moorthy, for joining us on this conversation.